done with this. I don't want to live no more. And I just remember going in the bathroom, and I had the biggest butcher knife I could get out in my kitchen. And I ran upstairs in my room and I locked my stuff in the bathroom. And I just was like, kept on hearing it, like, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. Nobody care about you anyway. And every time I would pick the knife up to do it, I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't go through with it. And I dropped the knife, and I just remember saying, God, if you are real, God, you will help me. You will save me. You will help me. You will save me. I just kept saying, if you're real, you will help me. You will save me. If you're really real, God. And this light, this big, bright, shiny light had came up in the bathroom. So bright. And I just remember seeing the light. And then I remember hitting my head on the side of the tub. And I just remember going out. So when my mom got there, I didn't realize that my mom was there. My mom and them had to basically like kick the bathroom door in because I had locked it. And my mom had came, and I remember my mama just touching me in my head and my stomach, and she was just praying. And when the more she prayed, I just was foaming at the mouth. And I never understood what happened at that moment, what was going on, but I know whatever was happening was spiritual. So I made a decision that I was like, you know what, God, since you saved me, because I know you saved me, because I couldn't take that knife to myself and kill myself. I just couldn't do it. Every time I picked it up, I would drop it. I just couldn't take the knife to my chest or wherever I was trying to do it at and just do it. So I said, then I got to get to know who God is for real. So I started listening to Dr. Miles Monroe. And I would listen to his teachings every day, all day long. And I will pray, and I will fast, and I will pray, and I will fast, and I will listen to his teachings. I would listen to Keon Henderson. I would listen to a lot of Michael Todd at that time. A lot of different people I would just, go on and listen to. I had listened to this one sermon by Juanita Bynum called No More Sheets. Ladies, if y'all have never heard that before, Juanita Bynum, No More Sheets, I'm going to need for you to go check it out. That sermon broke me down to my knees. Do you hear me? It broke me down to my knees because I knew I was doing all the fornicating, all the sleeping around, and I had no business doing that, but I just didn't care about myself. So once I listened to that sermon, it broke me down so bad. And as I listened to Dr. Miles Monroe, and I started listening to different people, and I started fasting, and I started praying, and as I started seeking God's face, my life began to start changing. I ended up creating a cooking business. God was like, I kept saying, God, somebody need to be free. I want to share my testimony with the world. I want to share my testimony with people, but I don't want to stand up in front of a crowd of people and share my testimony. I don't want people to be feeling sorry for me. I don't want sympathy. I want people saved. And I just kept saying that. And he was like, write the book. He was like, write the book. And I was like, well, I don't even know what to write. What do I call it? How do I do this? And he gave me the name. And I started off with the name first. And the name I started building. But I didn't even have to build because it was my story. So I know my story. So I just started writing. And the title fit the book so well. So I started writing that book in 2019. And I would start it, then I would stop it, then I would start it, then I would stop it. Because then I had my little Sassy's Kitchen going on. I had started cooking. I was doing well with that. And and I was just on this on and off thing with God, and God got to a point with me where he was like, you can't keep on doing it. Like, you can't keep on being on and then off. You got to make a decision if you're going to be in or you're going to be out. Right? So I had my cooking business going. I had my shades lines going first. That's what I started. I started a shades line. It started off well, but then it ended up falling off because I wasn't as consistent with it. I had got tired of it, and then I ended up starting my cooking business. But in the midst of all that, I was writing because I was trying to find my stuff. I was putting my stuff in different places. Like, oh, I'm gonna start this business. Oh, I'm gonna do this. But the only thing I heard God say was write the book. He didn't say start a cooking business. He didn't say that's something I did on my own. He said write the book. So in the midst of me doing the cooking business, doing the shades line, I started writing the book. Okay? Fast forward, I ended up into a car accident with my mom. I moved out of the place that I was at for 3 years, because I was there from 2019 to like the end of 2021 going into 2022. So when I moved from there, that's when my cooking business really went up, and I was doing the cooking business and I was working. But then I stopped working because the cooking business is doing so well that I didn't even need to work a job no more. Okay? So fast forward all that, you know, I'm back and forth, and though, y'all, like, I'm not consistent with my walk with God. But I'm on sometimes, and sometimes I'm off, and I'm on sometimes, and sometimes I'm off. And then I went back to smoking weed again. And I was like, you know, I felt like I can't be smoking weed and then calling myself a child of God and trying to serve God. So I felt like if I wasn't going to play both sides no more, if I was going to be out here partying, smoking weed, and popping pills, then I'm going to just do that. But I'm not going to play with God. So that's what I did. I went back to the world. After God don't help me, He don't deliver me, He don't save me, and things started going back good, then I went back to the world again. Because that's what we do with God. We think that we can just keep coming back and forth. But no, you got a decision that you got to make. You can't serve two gods, like He said. You're either going to be of the world, or you're going to be in God. But you're not going to do both. You're not going to have one foot in the world and the other foot think you're going to be in the Word. It does not work like that. So I didn't understand that until now. So I knew I had to make a decision. But I chose to go back to the world, because God give us free will, right? So I went back to the world, partying, doing what I was doing, going back to sleeping around, sexual morality. And I just remember, like, not ever being fulfilled. It's like all this stuff you doing, and it's not fulfilling you. You're not fulfilled. But when I went back to God, I just felt fulfilled. I felt peace. I felt joy. I felt happiness. And I just felt this love. But when I was in the world, I felt like self-destruct, going down deeper into sin, death. That's just what it was. So what I do, I chose the world. God give us free will. So I go back to the world, doing that for a while. Then I get tired, because I'm just not being fulfilled at this point. Like, it's not fulfilling. What am I doing? I'm sleeping around for what? What purpose is this? Like, why am I doing this? It didn't make no sense to me. So like I said, I'm back and forth with my relationship with God. 1 minute I'm on, 1 minute I'm off, 1 minute I'm on, 1 minute I'm off. But I can see that He never took His hands off me, no matter what I did. He still kept His hands on me. And I used to ask Him all the time, like, why do you love me so much? Like, why you just don't let me die? You know, why do you love me so much? Why do you keep accepting me back every time I leave you and go and do what I want to do? And then when I'm in trouble, I run back to you. Why do you keep taking me back, God? I just used to ask Him that all the time, because I never knew that God loved me so much. Because I used to be like, why do you love me? I never knew how much He loved me, because I didn't love myself. I wasn't loving me. So why do you love me if I don't even love me? Right? And that's the question was always in the back of my mind. And so, in 2023 of this year, with my mom and my biological father, I met my biological father at Belmont, y'all, back in 2019. Let me go back. I missed the whole part. He had got sick, me and my other sister. We had went to the hospital to see him, make sure he was all right. He had like surgery on his brain because he had a brain tumor, and they had to remove it. So when they removed it and they gave him the radiation, they gave him too much radiation to where it damaged his pituitary gland, which controls all the enzymes in your body, like to be able to smell and stuff like that. So it took his smell away. He can't smell at all. Excuse me. So it took his smell away. And so when I went to the hospital and I seen that, I didn't think about that little girl who felt abandoned from her dad and wondering why her dad wasn't there to teach her about men or to save her from things that happened to her. I didn't think about none of that. I just saw my daddy in that state and that he needed me and he needed help. And I took my daddy and I said, well, he can come home with me and I can take care of him and y'all can contact me. And my dad just looked at me like, because he couldn't believe it. But me and my sister was there. We was there with him. We made sure we brought him some food. We made sure he was okay. And then I brought him home with me. And he lived with me since that time. And my dad was just so amazed of how I took care of him. But that's how I knew, even despite everything that I endured in my life and all the things that I did in my life and how I would get on track and back off track and then on track and back off track, I still had love in my heart, and I don't know how. I still love people. I still help people. I still was there for people even when they did me wrong and betrayed me. I still was there for them because I always had a forgiving heart. That's why I always knew that the hand of God was upon my life, because despite everything, I still was forgiving. I still was loving. I still helped people. I wasn't this nasty person that because these things happened to me, I'm going to be nasty and mad with the world. No, I was mad with God a lot, but I still helped people, you know. So I brought my dad in, got him comfortable, and he was with me since. So I just had to go back to add that piece to it, because now I'm going to talk about moving forward in 2023 now. How after that, you know, after me going on and off again and back off again in the world, my dad was already living with me. So now fast forward to 2023, I'm sorry. I'm in my place. My mom had a situation that happened with her.